Hi Sagittarius and welcome back. So if you've been to my channel before, you know how this is going to work, how I read my cards. If this is the first time here, welcome. This is a brand new channel, so I would appreciate if you enjoy this reading, if you find something that is either of comfort or guidance or support. Please don't forget to give me a like, to share it with somebody who you think may deem this useful as well. And please don't forget to subscribe, because this will be my chance to actually reach more and more of you that I need that this is some sort of guidance and some sort of support in their path. So thanks for keeping this in mind. If you already know me, you know that for this monthly reading, although I do other types of reading as well, but this one is a monthly reading that is specific for your sign, for the sign of Sagittarius in this case. And I usually like to start my readings with understanding what kind of energy is surrounding you at this moment. And by this moment, I mean a moment in time. I'm reading right now for April 2024. But if you happen to stumble into this reading later, that means that is the time for you. So please don't get too hooked up on the dates that I put there. I'm recording this at the end of March for the month of April 2024, but it will be valid for you any moment you find it. And please don't forget that the energies are temporary and they can definitely be changed by your own free will. So nothing is prescriptive here. It's just an indication of the kind of energy that is surrounding you at this time, what is available to you, which you can modify according to whichever way you wish. Okay. So the energy that surrounds your reading at this time is represented by this one card that I pulled from a different deck to the one that I'm going to use afterwards. And it's extremely interesting because I have just finished reading for the sign of Scorpio, and they had the counterpart of this card. So you have the moon, which, as the card says, is also equated to the soul. But Sagittarius had the sun, and their reading was all about the relationship between the sun and the moon, because the moon was also present later on in their own reading. So I would say there's definitely a connection between your sign Sagittarius and possibly the sign of Scorpio. So if that's the case, if you have it stronger in your chart, Scorpio presence, or if you know somebody that is very prominent in your energy that has Scorpio, and perhaps you're here in this reading, try to figure out something, to understand something, to dig into whatever the relationship is with this person, then I would definitely advise you to go check the Scorpio reading, because there may be a message in there for you as well. Now, why was I stressing into the digging and the finding out and all of the things that I just mentioned when it comes to the moon? That's because the moon is actually what it's all about. So the sun is about illuminating everything and shining a light on something that was not visible or clear, or, was a bit confusing maybe, which usually is represented by the moon. And the moon is indeed that. The moon is the most hidden part of ourself, is our soul, like the card says. Okay, so it's related to our roots, our most intimate the most intimate part of ourselves. Sometimes, in astrology is also associated to the mother figure, and as in the main nurturer and carer for us from early age, when we cannot take care of ourselves. So it has a quality of nurturing. It has a quality of what makes us feel nurtured and fulfilled. What makes us feel like our needs are met. These are all questions that we ask when the moon is around, or when we have a reading in astrology. That's the moon is all about the emotions. It's how we meet our feelings and how we fulfill them. Okay, so it has a quality of hidden as well, because indeed it's something that we don't expose to everybody. We don't want everybody to to know our heart. We don't feel super comfortable all the time being vulnerable, especially with people that we don't know or people that we don't trust just yet. And so this is just to give you a bit of an overview of what the moon is all about. It's really about security. It could be also the home that we grow up in, and where we hide away and feel safe. What do we choose? What's our favorite place? What it is that we call home? And by that, I don't mean necessarily the house, as in the construction itself, but what makes you feel secure? What is the equivalent for you of the place that you say come home after, a heavy day at work, let's say, you just kick your shoes off and you put yourself in front of Netflix, and you don't fear judgment, you don't feel rejection, you don't have to prove anything to anybody because you are okay with where you're at. What is that place for you? This is what the moon is all about. That's why it's also, sometimes, I mean, it shouldn't be done that way necessarily, but sometimes we just think that the moon also is symbolic for the fourth house in astrology, which is the most hidden house, the most personal, the most private. But yeah, it does have some of the qualities of the fourth house. So if you have a strong fourth house in your birth chart, for example, that's the time to go have a look what's going on there by transit. What are the planets doing right now in your fourth house? So these are all questions that you may want to ask yourself at this moment, okay? So the interesting part of this, like I said, for Sagittarius, it was all about the sun illuminating a matter of, moon nature, let's say. And here it's all about this moon revealing to you actually how you really feel, how you can step into your power, and, like having a turnover of in events, because the reading, to start with it, I'm just going to put this card down. The reading opens up with the Hangman, which is really all about changing a perspective on something that we may also always have thought about in a certain way or felt about in a certain way. Let's not forget indeed that the moon is all about the feelings. It's more inner, it's more of an inner process. So I'm feeling like what it's about here, it's about a change of feelings and a sort of clarity kicking in, something that possibly brings back some kind of vitality that is very proper of you. Sagittarius, you are one of the most vital signs in the zodiac, and the Knight of Wands more often than not is actually associated with the sign of Sagittarius. So what this beginning tells me here is that finally something kicks in. You have gone within, you have done the work you had to do, you have put a name and a meaning to whatever it was that was so inner that required a whole lot of work, but you have done it, and now you actually are stepping into a moment of clarity where you see things differently, when you feel them differently, and you're finally taking yourself out of a space that I feel for quite some time may have caused you to kind of not really doing well. I would say, like, you may have not slept well, you may have had thoughts just running around in your head and not knowing how to deal with them. But it seems like that period is now behind you, that you can finally give space to some more nourishing feelings. And it's very interesting. I was mentioning in the previous reading, and I mentioned it in some other readings before that I am so fascinated by the fact that my current readings, since I started this channel, are actually showing me a pattern on how my cards show up. I see that sometimes what happens is that one card goes on top of the other, and that tells a story of its own. And here the moon is above the Empress, and the Empress is all about nourishing, which is also synonym for the moon. Like I said, it's how we nourish ourselves and how we give nourishing to others. And so it's very interesting to see this pattern here, because this tells me that you are finally, thanks to the work you have done here by taking care of your moon, by fulfilling your moon, you have actually gotten into a space where you finally can nourish yourself. You can being in a softer space without having feeling the need to feel guarded and to just protect yourself, or just mulling over the same thoughts over and over again. Now, obviously, the Empress can also mean motherhood or pregnancies, which the moon is also associated with. So for some of you, obviously, it will resonate differently for all of you. And that doesn't mean at all that all of you will get pregnant in the month of April, obviously. But what I'm saying here is that for some of you, this may be some sort of confirmation that you're on that path, and that this is what is actually opening up to you in terms of energy. Again, it's up to you how you want to bring this forward, but it is a possibility. So it's a fertile period, generally speaking, and more like literally, if you're looking for pregnancy, this could be a very good prosperous time, I would say, because the moon and the empress are right on top of each other, and this is, this is a clear message of that as well. And also there's kind of an encouragement here to look at that, these colors over here, the brightness over here, the offer that's given to you here. Normally when I look at the Four of Cups, I just really focus on the face of this person is just looking away, not seeing everything, and that it sort of is what is happening here. But somehow in this specific reading, I'm finding myself called more to this part, which is the smallest part of this card, which is all about colorful, joyous sort of energy, which seems to be something that perhaps now you're either encouraged to look into, or is something that you are automatically starting to look into. If you are embodying already the energy of the Knight of Wands, because you have already stepped into this new perspective, you will know what this is all about. You will know that you are actually in this space where things look a bit brighter, and now you're not in that kind of inner work focus, let's say. And what happens right then is that really a new beginning can finally start with you. So this, now that I'm talking about it, it also tells me that that could be like associated with a birth, if that's what it is. I just don't want to focus too much on that, because it will be like a very short, very small percentage of you. But the moon, the empress, and the Ace of Pentacles for me is like something coming to fruition, like the fruit of labor, and I can't help but think about it. So that's one way to look at it. But generally speaking, the Ace of Pentacles is really like a new concrete beginning, something that you have worked for, and you finally have like this chance opening up in front of you. And I was asking for clarification, hence why this weird card positioning here. I asked for clarification of what this new beginning could be all about. And the first thing that comes out is commitment, something that has to do with maybe a situation that was stuffy before. The Hierophant can also, represent traditions and something that keeps us constricted, a bit Saturnian in a way. But this card is so joyous and so full of light, and it's also a synonym of commitment. And that's the first word that sprung up when I saw the clarification for the Ace of Pentacles. So I would take it that way. And it seems like it kind of helps like a new type of conversation kicking in. So something like more joyous, with a spark, with vitality, something that would be more of a quality, a sun quality, something that kind of gives you that joy of life that you may have lost recently. So know that the possibility is there. And this comes after a whole lot of stuff that has been extremely seems painful, but like a power struggle. It's the message I got, like a power struggle, something that was really hindering the growth of something that was meant to be growth, something that really slowed down the process. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing when things go slow. They can be frustrating, but it may also mean that for things to flourish and to become an empress form, when they actually are fruitful, when they actually are really giving their best fruit, you really need time. You just can't expect to have the seed planted and have results straight away. Sometimes a slow movement but steady is what takes you to where you're supposed to be. Nonetheless, it seems like the journey has been extremely painful. And again, I saw when I saw the card of strength, I normally would interpret it in a different way, but the word that came up was power struggle. And so this is what I'm just going to tell you, and you will take it as it resonates to you in whichever context that is. So if it's a relationship, maybe there was like kind of fight for supremacy, or somebody who wanted to or needed to have the last word to feel fulfilled, because it's all about the moon, let's not forget. So it's all about what makes us feeling fulfilled and nourished. And so maybe there was that kind of dynamic going on. But if it's work, definitely, colleagues and ambitious situations where, people try to overcome the other. I don't necessarily see struggles in that respect, as in like a co-worker sort of situation, but it will apply in different ways, especially if you have maybe a project that you had disclosed with somebody that, and made you feel vulnerable to do so, but it just it wasn't received in a way that you were hoping for, and so that caused hurt, and that caused you to feel like, okay, then I have to kind of close off again, and why would I even open up? And these are the feelings that the moon can can bring along and say, hey, keep it to yourself, keep it private. This is what's supposed to be private to you. So whatever is coming up now as a, or showing up as a new beginning, stems from something that has happened before. That really it played a number on you, and it seems like to be very frustrating in some way, but painful also, something that really felt like stuck and you may have not known how to get out of. So how is this going to play out from now on? Well, first and foremost, you will need to acknowledge that a new beginning is presented to you, but you need to take action on it, because it's not gonna make itself. You need to accept that that's what it is, and that you're not alone, and that there are people around you that can be of help in that respect. And you need to take yourself out of your head. If needed, you may need to distance yourself from whatever this was, because having gone through all of this doesn't mean necessarily that you I've come out of it, or that you have to come out of it. But for some of you, if it's a job or if it's a relationship, it doesn't matter. For some of you, it means that you either have to take your distances like temporarily and try to really sit in it and savor the possibility that you have in front of you, and try to find the best way to fulfill that, so that you can start anew and then see this situation in a new light, like the Hierophant is suggesting here. Or maybe you just need to let go of whatever it was and kind of like embark on a completely new journey. But the most important thing that kind of calls my attention here is that the new beginning, the new opportunity is here, but you need to work on it. And you need to work also on getting yourself out of your head. If I'm not wrong, your reading last month was all about going through a whole lot of struggle, and that kept you stuck. It seems to be still here, and so the encouragement is still the same. Whether you think that you need to get yourself out of the situation, or just distance yourself temporarily, so that you can actually see things from a new perspective. Whatever it takes, just work on yourself here. It seems a new perspective is already dawned on you, so you probably know how to go about it. But I still feel like you need to implement, like everything. You now are clear. This moon has make it done the work, and things are clearer, but you haven't taken action on it yet. So that it's on you. That's something that you need to do. Okay. I hope this resonates in some ways. I mean, to me, it's kind of clear that there's a step forward compared to last month where I left you, where it seemed to be, there seemed to be a whole lot of stuck energy. And now it seems things are kind of turning around a little bit. I do still see, and I'll say it again because this card is very important to me. It tells me that you're still there in some shape or form. That you still probably have to make the decision, the final decision on whatever this is. But it seems to have moved forward compared to where I left you last month. So well done you. I mean, the work that the moon requires us to do is not always the most pleasant. We just don't want to go down into that very vulnerable part of ourselves, especially if we are a sign like yours, Sagittarius. It's being a fire sign, you want action. You don't want introspection. Watery stuff is not very familiar to you. So you just don't quite know always what to do with it. But you seem to have done a whole lot of work. So let me just pull a card here that I like to finish off with. It's a nice little deck that has this short but to the point guidances that more often than not really confirm the energy and everything, wow, and anything that has happened during the reading. So many cards. I'm just going to read the two that have flipped with face up. And so one says forgiveness and the other one is serenity. Let me read them to you because I'm already having an inkling on something that I may have not mentioned, but then now comes clear to me. Forgiveness. Holding on to resentment and anger is preventing or even suffocating your spiritual growth. Resentment is one of the strongest and most damaging of human emotions. The act of forgiveness in its own right is equally incredibly powerful, and it has the capacity to heal and transform. This is absolutely true. This is exactly the energy that I had felt last month when there was so much stuck energy in your reading, like stubbornness. And to be frank, I don't remember if it was your reading last month or if it was the WhatsApp Love when I do the quick energy reading. If so, go check it out. It's the one that had either the yellow or the red cover. Please go check them out because that's exactly the energy I felt for you. I felt like there was a whole lot of anger. Grudges was the word that was coming up a lot. And resentment, which is something that comes up a lot, especially for fiery signs like you, Sagittarius. Sometimes you can go into the dark area, which we all do. I mean, we all have dark and light, so there's no judgment here whatsoever. It's more so to say sometimes in life we tip more onto the other end because we need to do some shadow work, which the moon encourages to do, or well, encourages or not, it's there to be done. So it seems really that you have done that. But yes, you may still be here in your head because you just can't let go some resentment, some grudges, something that really is hindering this growth. So you have also, this power struggle was definitely present here, but you certainly have contributed to this slow growth because you just can't let go of something. And here is the card of letting go. So it may be that the letting go is not about the situation, the person, the job. It's more so let go of this, let go of the resentment, the grudges, let go of anything that is hindering your growth. And this is what it is. Now it actually is much more clear. That's why I love these cards. I mean, I love to end up with them because they always show me something extra if they don't confirm straight up what has been already said. And the second card here is serenity. The most important relationship you can have is with yourself. This is a time to honor, nurture, and love yourself more by seeking out and removing any negative feelings and emotions that are left over from yesterday. Don't let past issues and resentments, I can't believe it, interfere with your serenity today. I mean, how many more times can the word resentment come up and and tell you that this is what's actually on your way of happiness? It's really the struggle that you're having here is to let go of that. This is the work you still need to do under the moonlight, Sagittarius. This is something that before you throw away the baby with the bathwater and you quit the job, the relationship, or whatever, quit that part of yourself that is so embedded in you because you certainly have suffered a lot. You have gone through a lot. But if it starts with you, growth starts with you. You really need to do that, and you actually can have access to all of this, the nourishment, the happiness, the new beginning, projects, whatever it is. This growth is bound to move forward as soon as you let go of this pain, everything that has really hurt you to the point that you have shut off and maybe nurtured different kind of feelings that are not useful for you right now, definitely not for your growth. Okay. Well, Sagittarius, this was a beautiful reading because it kind of gave us the clue of what it is that is keeping you stuck. So you do whatever you need to do and what you deem, to be fair to yourself, because indeed you are the most important person to yourself. But don't forget that holding resentments and grudge towards others doesn't damage others so much as it damages us in the first place. So maybe something to keep in mind. Okay. All right, Sagittarius, if you enjoy this, if you offer some kind of guidance or support, please put a like I said, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so I can reach more and more of you every week. Okay? Well, thank you so much. I hope to see you very soon again. Bye.